Good evening, class. My name is Mirna Cruz, and I'm going to give you the speech given by Diana Princess Ovales on women and mental health, June 1st, 1993. Women and mental health. Where do we start? From those I have spoken, through my work with Turning Point, the beginning seems to be the women in our society are seen as the parent, the one who can cope. Whatever life throws at them, they will always cope. On call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Whether their children are sick, their husbands are out to work, or their parents are old and frail and need attention, they will cook. They will cook and clean, go out to work, attend to the needs of those around them, and they will cope. They might be suffering themselves from postnatal depression, violence at home, or struggling in a haze of exhaustion and stress to make ends meet, but they will cope. Strangling is a woman themselves, as well as men, who believe this to be true. So deep-seated is the belief that it can take enormous courage for women to admit they cannot cope, that they might need help, either from families and friends, or the support system put in place by you, the professional. Frequently, they will attempt to survive, falling helplessly into a deeper and darker depression as they feel more and more trapped by the life they are living. As the world closes in on them, their self-esteem evaporates into a haze of loneliness and desperation as they retreat farther and farther from those who could help them. Many women and men turn to alcohol to numb the pain of their despair. But because it is seen in women as less acceptable to admit to a dependence on alcohol, it often goes unnoticed. They are merely perceived as having a rather nervous disposition. The suffering behind their anxious eye so often goes unseen. Sadly, for others, the strength becomes too much and their decisions to take their own life seems to them the only way of ending their pain. Perhaps they didn't believe they deserved the same support they had given to others. For those who find the courage tentatively to ask for help, the pill for every ill is most often administered. For decades, tranquilizers, sleeping pills, and antidepressants has been given to generations of women 3 times as many as to men. Those pills, those mother-little helpers, have left a legacy of millions of women locked into a terrible torment, doomed to a life of dependence from which there is still very little help to escape. More often than not, they retreat into their own private hells behind closed doors, terrified to go out of their homes into what to them has become a frightening world. Dealing with those fears has now become a greater problem than the condition that caused them to be taken in the first place. Recently, I met a woman who, against the odds, has succeeded in getting off the tranquilizer. She has been prescribed to help with her postnatal depression. She has been taking those pills for over 30 years, giving herself permissions to give them up had not been easy, but with specialist help she had won. Her biggest realization was that during those years she has completely lost touch with her own identity. She has now discovered that she was no longer the person others believed her to be. The drug has closed her down. They had managed to turn her into an anxious zombie. At least, she was now able to learn how to live again and became the person she was born to be. Whether those drugs were given in a genuine attempt to help or whether they were offered as a means of making her more tranquil and acceptable to those around her, the effect can be the same. Those pills will tend to make a woman more passive to help her conform to the norm. But how's norm is it? Is it normal not to be able to cope all the time? Is it normal for women as well as men to feel frustrated with life? Is it normal to feel angry and wants to change situations that is hurting? Perhaps we need to look more closely at the cause of the illness rather than attempts to suppress it. To accept that putting a lid on powerful feelings and emotions cannot be the healthy option. That to offer women the opportunity to explain their predicament sooner could be a far more effective use of limited resort rather than wait until their strength to survive has been sapped. As long as the real reason for their problems go unnoticed and unattended, they will continue to pass on the next generations their disability. If we, as a society, continue to disable women by encouraging them to believe they should only do things that are thought to benefit their family, even if those women are damaged in the process, if they feel they never have the right to do anything that is just for themselves, if they feel they must sacrifice everything for their loved ones at the cost of their health, their eating strength and their own self-worth, they will live only in the shadow of others, and their mental health will certainly suffer. But if we can help to give them back the right to fulfill their own potential and to share that with their family, children or friends, maybe fewer women will find themselves living a life that is plain beyond the relief. Those women who has taken on the heavy burden of attending to the others' needs also to be attended, not just for their own sake, but for the good of us all, health and happiness taken at the cost of others' pain. and sufferings cannot be acceptable. Women have a right to their own peace of mind. Each person is born with very individual qualities and potential. We, as a society, owe it to women to create a truly supportive environment in which they too can grow and move forward. But if we are to help, the quiet, private, desperate lies behind closed doors. But so many women, they need to know for centuries they are not alone, that real support and understanding is there for them. I hope this conference will help us to understand the needs of women more clearly, and that you will find a way of reaching them more effectively and helps to give them back the rightful, mentally healthy life. Thank you.